So today we're going to be talking about Ed and Eddie lost episodes. There's two in existence. One, The Night of the Living Ed. Two, May Fire. Here we go. Just gotta find it real quick up here. There it is. A little bit, I'm just gonna find it. So first, we're gonna do May Fire. Okay, I wrote down that. Not really wrote down that. Somebody else. So, many of us remember that show on Cartoon Network named Ed and Eddie, right? The show stopped showing after 6 seasons, which led the entire staff of the show to be laid off. Many were really mad about this decision. The crew members were mad, which led the staff members leaking the original episode for season 7. People downloaded it before it was taken off on a torrent site. The people who watched it went insane. Before the episode starts off, a warning is shown, stating the following: due to money issues, we're stopping Ed and Eddie. This file is not distributed for the public, as the episode is only a project. The intro started. I think that the intro would be either different or messed up, but the intro started off like normal. The 3 Eds fooling off just like usual. No big deal. After the intro stopped, the title card spelled out May Fire, which is weird because every episode name is supposed to have Ed in it. It starts off with the 3 Eds walking down the cul-de-sac in a bird's eye view. They are running for some reason, which led Eddie to say, "Let's hurry, we're almost to the candy shop." The 3 Eds start to sprint. As they make a turn, the downtown appears... wait. As they make a turn, the scene fades away. The next scene, they're watching TV, showing a news broadcast. Urgent fire starting downtown, appears to be heading to a little neighborhood. Please evacuate the area with caution. "What are we gonna do now?" shouted Double D. Ed, in a sad tone, said, "What's there to do? We're done." Eddie shouted, "No, we're not. There's a safety shelter about 10 blocks away from us. We can make it there and survive." This then shifted to the other scene, another scene of the boys running. Eddie shouted, "No! Wait, no." The next scene pops up, and it's showing the Eds running for their lives now, because of the massive flames occurring in the background. "Come on, we can make it! It's only 5 more blocks away." Double D is slowing down, and he exclaims, "Guys, I don't think I can make it. I'm too weak to keep running." "No, you're not, Double D. Hop on my back." yelled out Ed. The scene cuts to black again. It now shows Eddie holding on to Double D's hat, or beanie, I don't know what that is. Beanie is a type of hat, but he doesn't wear one. All torn up and mangled up. Ed was sobbing really hard, while Eddie had a few tears in his eyes. He whispered, "We're done, Eddie. We might as well go the same direction as Double D did." Eddie screamed, "Don't you say that to me now." Ed, Double D wanted us to be safe, so let's do it for the kid. They both started to run now. As they were running, the flames started to spread out more, and much brighter than they were before. As they made the final turn, Double D was shown running down the same pathway as the Ed. "Double D, is that you?" they said. "Yes, it is. Hurry up. There's helicopters waiting for us, and they're taking off in 2 minutes," yelled Double D. A split-second static occurred, which leads to the next part. All alone inside a helicopter with a striped shirt and an orange shirt. Double D, Ed, "I can't let you guys die like this. I'm joining you." It shows Eddie jumping off the helicopter into the horrible fire. Then it shows a bird's eye view of the cul-de-sac all burned down. It now cuts the whole downtown area, fire all disfigured. Buildings were collapsing like dominoes. A radio broadcast heard in the background saying, "There's still hope in the northern area of town. If there's any survivors, please come over to this region." And that's it. And then the next story, which is scarier. As you may know, the popular show Ed and Eddie has been running for a long time. However, between October 7th, 2003, October 21st, 2003, episode 34 was accidentally released a week before it was scheduled to. They were supposed to play episode 1 again. It was also known to some around the office the primary writer had been sick with the flu. And instead of going to make episode 34, they show Cartoon Network they show what's supposed to replay episode 1 at 5 o'clock a.m. Eastern. People reported a very disturbing new episode premiering on Cartoon Network. Some children were fortunate enough to see it. Apparently, the quality of the episode was mediocre. When they held the regular standards, animation was choppy. The sound was constricted and very muffled. Reports of a lion running up and down, similar to a cruddy VHS tape, were received. Scenery was described as overwhelmingly dark and depressing, without changing the props in the background. Objects, stormy looking. The characters also behaved oddly. Instead of the normal goofy hijinks inspired personalities, viewers complained they seemed extremely agitated, hateful toward each other, and constantly about to begin sobbing after their lines. I was one of the viewers. The episode began with Ed and Eddie walking down the street with Ed. Eddie walking down the street with Ed. I noticed E double D was missing. Or double D, or Ed, whatever you want to call him. There was an angular shot. Sorry, okay. When something goes coming from the front of the two to show them walking toward the viewer. As Eddie, he was wearing that angry look as he does when something goes wrong. But something was wrong. He was red around the iris. It must have been severe pink eye that he died from in the part when they were staring too long. Okay. Ed looked absolutely forlorn and practically dragged behind Eddie, tears in his eyes, which were both lazy looking in opposite directions. Kevin, the series antagonist, was riding his bike opposite of the Eds toward them. The shot became blurry and low moans were heard. All I can see was a green blob heading towards the yellow one. Again, the low moan only this time it sounded like a microphone was broken. A loud static came, greatly overshadowing the moan. A claymation sequence of Double D sleeping on Eddie's bed came up. Honestly, it may have just been the... I don't know what it is. But I jumped and shivered. Waking up and getting out of bed. He moved oddly around the circular room, the fast pitter-patter of footsteps being the only audio. The steps sounded very clear, as I was shown a bird's eye view of him scampering around the room. There were no visible doors. Double D began screeching, sounding like a Fisher cat, as he moved widely around the cell of a room, faster and faster. The scream began blurring a bit again. While the wiggly screen started to do that too. They were going faster and faster. The purple room's color was swallowing an orange blur. It was on Eddie's bed. I think it was Double D, but something was wrong with him. An extreme close-up of Eddie's front door sat in absolute silence for at least 2 minutes, dead silence in the door. Next, we see Jimmy and Sarah at a doctor of some sort, probably oral. Jimmy obstructed in a view of by a hanging lamp, is crying loudly with Sarah to comfort him in an unusually warm fashion. It hurts, Sarah, it hurts. Suddenly, the door of the room smashed open by a newer character, a dentist. His face wasn't shown because he was tall enough to be out of the shot. Sarah was escorted from the room. Jimmy was shown. His headgear was mangled. The front of his the front bent upward, stretching his lip very high, tearing proportions. The front of his gums were trickling with blood. The teeth were missing. The most disturbing part was he lost his limbs. Beforehand, apparently, and sat a paraplegic, whatever that means. I almost cried as I came to the conclusion the others had beaten him up and bent his headgear and stayed on his mangled face for a few seconds still as a picture, as silent as ever. Commercials came on. We were instantly assaulted with a very hairy Rolf in his darkened shed, fisting the cow repeatedly. The visual loop gets blurry again as the screen pans out. Naz was reading a magazine on her couch. The quality of the show is now perfect. Eddie is now alone without Ed. The quality declines worse than before, and he is still walking. The sun is now lightening. Moved somewhat, he smiles and begins running the door. Shown again, and we see through Eddie's eyes. He reaches out and opens it. His house is nice and bright, but a very badly violin is blaring. The only audio in the scene as he makes his way through the house. Eddie opens the door to his room. Johnny is shown under Naz's couch cushions. He crawls on all fours. He pops up behind her head, so oblivious. I laughed because someone forgot to draw his eyes. I thought of a mole. Suddenly, I stopped laughing as he started swallowing her head. Still in cartoonish fashion, of course, but it was different. He and she stayed like this until she started kicking and struggling. Johnny held her like this until she was limp. A zoom in of his face revealed extremely small human eyes. Double D was laying on Eddie's floor, no longer in claymation. The camera showed Eddie's house for the remainder of the episode. About 3 minutes, and the next program began on the spot. Okay, that's it. That's it for today. So, please comment. I know it's kind of creepy. The second one is, but the first one, not so much. I know the first one's cheesy, but the next one, woo ha ha, rabbits dying, dun dun dun. Rabbits, dun dun dun. Better luck next time. Wah ha ha. Gonna eat flesh.